Do you go to the kids and tell them exactly why you're leaving if the reason is somebody committed infidelity in the relationship?
Oh, like if you're sitting the kids down and telling them mom and dad are getting a divorce, do you tell them like
why?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me run this by you. And this is somebody close to me. So I'm gonna make this story mine and Tiffany's because their story minus a year or two is very reflective of the relationship that I'm in right now with Tiffany and her daughter. So I'm going to use me as the example to protect my friend because it's a close friend and there'll be a lot of people that know who it is. Okay. So Tiffany and I, for those of you that don't know, have dated each other for 5 years. We are now engaged. She has a 7-year-old that I have known since she was 2 years old. Sweetest little thing, Eliza, right? So we moved in together, and I'm sort of the bonus dad right now. It's not official just yet, but I'm the bonus dad, man. I'm invested. I love that girl with all my heart. She is a joy. So I help out when I can. She's part of the family. We are a family, right? We have her 50% of the time. Tiffany loves me too. Again, I'm making this up. So if you're just tuning in, don't start DMing Tiffany going, ho. So Tiffany and I are engaged, but on a business trip, she gets real drunk and messes around, screws around on with somebody. For me, over. I've given too much to the relationship. I've tried to love her after that. I feel I have done nothing but struggle with the thought of how can I live in a world that Eliza's not anymore. But the truth of the matter is I don't love her mom. My heart just can't forgive her. So it's over for me. But I'm confused and conflicted. Like, what do I tell Eliza? Like, she looks up to me as a second father figure. I don't want to just bail on her, right? And then she's got trust issues or is confused. How does this affect her in the future? So I'm so concerned about it that I just decide that I'm going to use honesty. So I go to Eliza, who is 7 years old, and I say, your mom did something really, really bad. You won't quite understand it, but the reason why we can't live together is because your mom did something really bad and I can't be part of the family anymore. Is essentially what he did.
Oh, that doesn't sit well.
Right. So I was chewing on it going, that's not the way I would handle it.
No, I mean, it's
not
honesty,
the way I
but
would
it
handle
doesn't,
Yeah,
it doesn't sit well.
So and I'm curious about if you guys think he was justified or not. 1-855-BERT show, because he feels like, again, using my situation as sort of the frame here, like he's picked up his life, he's moved them in, he feels like he gave them everything and loved that little girl and loved her and gave her everything and felt so betrayed that he doesn't know how to tell his quote-unquote daughter why this relationship is over. And he doesn't want to leave her with the emotional scars of not being able to trust dudes.
Yeah. It's a horrible situation to be in. However, in that moment, I feel like he was more concerned about himself and how he was going to be viewed than how that was going to affect her, the little girl.
So what do you say as your exit strategy?
So as the exit strategy,
because he's, in his mind's done nothing wrong.
He hasn't. And I just think instead of telling her that her mother did something horribly wrong, that there has to be, and I can't think of it off the top of my head right now, but there has to be another way to communicate to a young child that the two of you are parting ways. You agreed to this, together, that you're going to do this. You will always love her. You will still continue. I mean, if he loves her as much as he does, I would think he would still try to be in her life in some capacity, maybe, if they can do that moving forward. I don't know how that works and if you can do that. But telling her that her mother did something horribly wrong, it's all your mother's fault. I would still be here if your mother, that's as a kid, I'm sitting here processing that. Granted, I'm an adult and processing it, but it's I would still be here if your mother hadn't done something. So you can completely blame her from the fact that I'm walking out this door right now. Man, yeah, no, you don't do that.
So you would be disingenuous and
it's not
you would handle it like like Stacy and I handled it with the kids.
Yep.
The truth of the matter is,
Yep.
things happen, and there was no good guy, there was no bad guy, so you would handle it that way.
And I know that, step parents can be just as important sometimes, more important if there's an absentee parent, but that's not his biological child, yet he went ahead and told her that information about her biological mom. That's messed up.
Dobby?
When you're talking with children about something that's going to affect them forever, there's no point in being right. Like, he didn't need to point out she was wrong. That has nothing to do with it. Two people fell out of love. They never fall out of love with kids. Everybody loves kids. You're fine. We'll always love you. But we fell out of love. We're going to be living separately. Like, why would you drop that bomb and then walk out?
Well,
Yeah, I would be as honest as I can but just leave some details out. I remember being this kid and wondering why my parents split, and I didn't understand why they weren't together. And I'm sure my mom could have told me some things at that time. You know what I mean? And she didn't. She allowed me to she simply just said, hey, people grow apart. It happens. And as I got older, I went and found the answers on my own. I don't think you have to be the person that gives your kid that.
there's a lot of people calling saying he did the right thing. Pedro, good morning. You think the way the dude handled it was the right way to do it?
That's right, because just like Mo said, you want to give at least the smallest amount of details, but what everybody here forgets, and we all forget at 7 years old, is we were smarter than the parents. We figured stuff out a lot quicker than they do without even telling us everything. We're like, something doesn't make sense. So this kid's going to grow up the rest of their life and going to see mom doing the same kind of issues, never keeping a man because she can't control herself. And lo and behold, she's like, is it always me? Like, no. The fact that you did that, let's know it wasn't her at all in any way, shape, or form.
I appreciate you calling. And here is Red. Good morning. You're on the Bert Show.
Hey, yeah, I have to agree with him to an extent. The unfortunate part is I actually just recently dealt with something very similar where my ex, cheated on me, and I had to be the one to tell my daughter that things broke off because he wasn't man enough to do it. So I had to go and explain to my child what happened. Like, I didn't go into extreme details, but good morning. But I had to, give her at least a somewhat of an explanation because she's 11 and, she's growing up and she's seeing this man as a father figure, calling her stepdad to everybody, and now he's just not there anymore. And she literally thought that I was joking when I told her that he wasn't living with us anymore.
Yeah, there is a lot of ego, man, that you got to put aside when you split. That is for sure. If that's me, I don't break it up that way. I don't want that daughter to look at the mother and say, you're the reason why he's not in my life anymore. That will build resentment. You just never talk crap about the co-parent, period.
The Bert Show.